So for anybody wondering how to center it, you can see I've got a tape measure up and I'm going to the end of the axle tube, and I'm going to the inside of the perch. And it's right at 8 inches now. So remember that measurement. We'll go over and check the other side. If you're wondering what I was measuring off of, see that lower bolt on the axle tube here? This one? I put my tape measure end on that, and just to be consistent from side to side. And then I'm going 8 inches to right here. So again, you see it come over here. I'm sitting right at 8 inches. And if you can see up in here, I'm sitting on that bolt head again. So keeping it the same, measuring from the same place, and just come over and get it centered. You'll have to tap it back and forth a few times and make sure you read your tape measure right. And that's it. That's how you'll get it centered under the Jeep. Back underneath the Jeep now, I've got the springs all hooked up. I've got the axle in place. As you can see, it's bolted into the permanent position, but I have not welded the perch yet. The reason being that final welding is going to happen once I know the pinion angle I need, and I don't have the transfer case set in yet and the transmission height finalized, so I'm just going to hold off. But I wanted to get this bolted in just so I could keep rolling it around, and I was able to get rid of the old axle and get the Liberty axle underneath and out of my way in my garage. So I am bolted in on both sides. You can see got it in. Here's what the bracket looks like on the underside. I did end up drilling this hole out. The nut was bigger than the original hole would allow in this aftermarket bracket. I think I ended up drilling it out to 9/16, and that clears that bolt fine. So got that drilled out, and it works with the spring. You can see I also trimmed the bolts just to give you an idea. That's how much came off. So plenty of extra on these U-bolts. I've got them all cut down on length and cleaned up the ends a little bit. You can see they're pretty short, so they shouldn't be snagging up on anything too easily or threads getting boogered up. This bracket's nice because it's got these little wings that help protect it some. So that's in. You can take a look over here, and there's my brake line. So this was the vent, and here's the T. It's a little out of place right now, but you can see this soft hose comes up, and here's my old one. So if I want to, I could reuse this original rubber line, I think, right up here, no problem. That'd work out for me. That said, I'll probably look at getting an extended stainless steel one just to see what's available, if there's something a little better than that rubber line. The hard lines are a little out of place as well right now. You can see it goes right across the top of the U-bolt's fine. So I think what I'll do is weld a little tab on for this bracket, which was originally from the KJ, and just keep these exact same hard lines running across. And you know, they sit on here fairly nicely, just a little high above the U-bolt. So I think I'll be able to reuse those hard lines. There's the speed sensor, nothing around it. If I need to reuse it in the future for something, I might do that. However, up here on the front, you can see this is some kind of like vibration damper thing, just kind of mass right there. Maybe it helps with a little bit of axle wrap or something. I'm not entirely sure the exact logic of it. The Liberty suspension is a little different. It has 2 lower control arms and 1 single upper ball joint in the middle of the differential. I guess I decided that was needed. I was planning to leave that on, but as you can see here, that is hitting my gas tank already, and I even pushed it into the skid some, so I'll need to get that off of there. So I'll take that out, and even then, keep going under here. There we go. As you can see, that clearance is not huge in between my flange and my gas tank, so just this axle where it sits and everything just gets a little bit closer. That should be fine. I don't think I'll have any issues with it, but this big round damper has to go. I'll spin around to the top side here and let you see it. So there we go. Here's this damper arm. You see there's a bolt for it. There's a couple more up at the front if I can get above those cables. And then I also have, this is the old ball joint bracket, so that will unbolt as well. I'll get that stuff all out of the way and should not have any issues with it. If for those of you wondering about my parking brakes, there's the old original cables, and come around. As you can see, it's got the drum style connection, so I don't think I'll be able to reuse these for anything on it. However, I did keep Liberty parking brake cables, so they're hooked up in the little mini drums down there. Pull this around. So that is the end of the Liberty cable, which if I come back over here now, as you can see, this can go just right in there. So the mechanism that pulled on it from the, so here we've got the mechanism that held in the original brake cables, and I'll grab the KJ Liberty one. So as you can see, that goes right on in easily. So for anybody that wants to do this swap and wants to keep their parking brake working in the original Comanche cable, you'll be able to do this and tuck all this stuff back up in this bracket. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to need to do here because I am using the newer XJ Cherokee parking brake, which is offset from the center console. So since I'm updating the interior and using that new parking brake, I'm going to have a cable to run back from that, which is similar to this, and I'm going to have to modify something, I'm sure. But for those of you who are just doing this on an original Comanche, that's one nice thing is you just grab these brake cables, and it ought to work out with your original parking brake. So it's something nice. I know there's a lot of swaps out there that wind up with rear discs but no parking brake. So I've got the original shackles in. Just for now, I think I'm going to end up replacing them. The rubber bushing in them looks kind of rough anyway. If you can see, it's peeling out a little bit there. There's our axle. And now I'll go up top and show you what it looks like from up top. Stepping back a little ways from it, here's how it's sitting, if that helps anybody. It's not that high. I was expecting it to end up a little bit higher. Come in over here. That's my gap there, just enough to slide in a full fist. So measuring to show you the height here, I'm going from the center of the wheel, and then come up here. You see there's my flare. So the bottom of the flare is right about 19 inches. So there's my flare gap, again, just large enough for me to get a fist in there right now. And it gets a little close to the flare right down here. So I do believe I could rub right now when I start to flex out. I mean, these are relatively large tires. These are 245, 75, 16s. And that's about the size I'm ever going to run. I'm not going to go much bigger than that. But I think what that means is for this particular setup, I'm going to go with some Chevy drop shackles in the back and just get a little bit more lift out of it in the back and hopefully keep it level with the front.